Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you another Grand Solar Minimum update. Sunday, April 15th, 11:40 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. You're looking at the GFS total snowfall model, and it is going out to April 26th, and it's showing snow all the way down in the southern Appalachians here, arriving here in this event, April 23rd and 24th. Take a look. This is the area in question here. West Virginia, Western North Carolina. Pretty significant event coming in at the end of April. We're going to watch that. We also have an event coming in through next weekend through Colorado. An epic event dumping heavy snow in the Steamboat Springs area up in northern Colorado. Still showing 3 feet in about 6 hours. So we're going to watch that. But what do you have to look forward to in the next few hours? Here's the next 3 hours. The snow is going to spread through Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, up into Maine, mostly in eastern Canada, Ontario. Heavy snow is going to be falling in that region. While we have heavy snow showing up here in the Sierras all the way south, as well as the Cascades, Idaho, and Montana, which is breaking all-time snowfall records. And that snow is going to continue to develop this week and move again through the upper Midwest, dumping more heavy snow in southern Minnesota, central Wisconsin, and northern Michigan. Again, South Dakota, eastern South Dakota is going to get more snow. North Dakota, more snow. Wyoming, more snow. Heads up. Welcome to the Grand Solar Minimum. Massive storm system Xanto sweeps through the U.S. At least 3 deaths have been reported. A massive system reaching from the Gulf Coast to the Great Lakes has afflicted the central United States on April 13th to the 15th. It's still going with heavy snow, tornadoes, rain, and hail, forcing flight cancellations, creating dangerous road conditions, and killing at least 3. All flights were grounded most of April 14th in Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, as heavy snow made it difficult to keep runways clear. Almost 470 flights were canceled before runway was open shortly after 3 UTC local time. Blizzard conditions also forced the airport in Sioux Falls to remain closed for a second straight day. Whew. Welcome to the new spring. Snow, bitter cold turns spring into winter in some parts of the U.S. The calendar says spring, but the Grand Solar Minimum says not. Heavy snow, ice storms, and record low temperatures have turned large parts of the upper Midwest and New England into an unwanted winter wonderland. More than 61 centimeters or 2 feet of snow was on the ground Sunday in Tigerton in Big Falls, Wisconsin. The ice storm knocked out power to hundreds of thousands in the Detroit, Michigan area. Chicago residents were warned of coastal floods along Lake Michigan because of fierce winter-like winds blowing across the water. Did you hear that? Fierce winter-like winds blowing across the water. Al Gore, are you listening? A winter weather advisory is in effect for parts of New England currently, where the high temperature in Portland, Maine was an unspring-like -2 degrees C, the coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States on April 15th. Oh my gosh. The coldest temperature ever recorded in North America on April 15th. I bet you didn't hear that anywhere else but here on the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Storm unleashes tornadoes in the U.S. East. Record snow in the Midwest. This is coming from Reuters, Atlanta. Deadly, slow-moving storms generated record or near-record snowfall and low temperatures throughout the Midwest. Tornadoes further east on Sunday, leaving airline travelers stranded and thousands, hundreds of thousands without power. Blizzard sets snow records across Wisconsin, shuts down roads, power, and church services. And that's a Jesus. April showers bring snow plowers. An unprecedented spring blizzard continued to bear down on the northeastern and central Wisconsin on Sunday, wreaking havoc on roads, causing roofs to collapse, prompting churches to cancel services. The storm set snowfall records in Green Bay, Appleton, and Wausau. According to Roy Eckberg of the NWS, it's probably going to be in the record books as a historic April snowstorm, he said. The National Weather Service expected the storm, which started Friday evening, would linger into Sunday night and bring with it more snow, sleet, and freezing rain. The blizzard warning was canceled early Sunday evening and replaced with a winter weather advisory. Gusts were estimated to reach 50 miles per hour, and that made it a blizzard. Let's talk about Minneapolis, St. Paul, enduring so far the second snowiest April day as blizzards rage. Minneapolis and Green Bay were two of the main communities significantly impacted by the heavy snows and blizzard conditions that blasted the north central United States Friday into Sunday. The worst of the snowstorm is focusing on the upper Great Lakes as the weekend comes to the close. There's an incredible footage of tornado ripping through Mississippi here. You're going to get links to all this. It's down below where it says show more under the video. It's worth the wait. This is happening just moments ago. Goodbye, roof. Blizzard. Heads up, South Dakota. Pierre experienced record snow and cold on Saturday as the late season blizzard roared over South Dakota, dropping as much as 20 inches of snow in some sites, including Winter, who's apparently now a winner. State officials opened Interstate 90 for travel at 8 a.m. Sunday between Mitchell and Chamberlain, but Interstate 29 remained closed and many roads are icy and dangerous to travel. The record 8 inches of snow that fell on Pierre is recorded by the National Weather Service office in Aberdeen as beating the previous record, April 13th, of only 4.1 inches. That's doubling it back to 1886. Heads up. Ice out shaping up to be late. Brutally cold April will impact May fishing opener. Yeah, I bet it will. None of the lakes in Minnesota are thawed. Every single lake in the state is frozen, and the fishing opener is not looking good. This is a boat ramp out to a glacier. This is Duluth. It has been the April of our cold discontent, and the impacts of our frigid weather so far are going to last well into May, with near record late ice outs expected across the Northland. It means if you have plans to fish open water lakes in northern Minnesota on May 12th, you will not be doing that unless you're going ice fishing. I'll leave you links to this article. It is amazing. We'll know if they've broken all-time records when it melts out. That's it. Ashwaubenon hotel roof collapses in a snowstorm. This is a funny article, guys. It's a record blizzard, and then this roof collapsed because of the weight of the snow. And come on down here and read this with me. We haven't seen snow in these amounts in years. It is not confirmed if the collapse of the roof is related to the weather. It is not confirmed if the collapse of the roof is related to the grand solar minimum. It is not confirmed that this roof collapsed because of the snow. It probably collapsed because of Al Gore farting underneath here and little fairies raising up into the rafters and decomposing it with Al Gore fairy anus dust. It is not confirmed if the record historic blizzard caused this roof collapse. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's look at the GFS model again. No more snow is going to occur because of global warming. Here's your April 26th outlook. Buried. Let's go to the Weather Ready Nation map and stop the nonsense. We have winter storm advisories and warnings still up in the northern tier here. Blizzard warnings still out here in the northern portions up in near Marquette, northern Wisconsin. Heads up. It is not safe. Do not go out in these regions. Winter storm watches and warnings headed up into the New England area. Just like I told you, all of Maine eventually, all of Vermont, New Hampshire, northern and northeastern New York State. We have flood warnings and watches throughout the Delaware River Valley. All of New Jersey under flash flood warnings. All of Delaware under flash flood warnings. Most of western Pennsylvania out here in the Ohio River Valley, flash flood warnings and watches. We have severe weather warnings and watches on the eastern Virginia and eastern Maryland borders here. Heavy thunderstorm warnings, freeze warnings out here in Tennessee, western North Carolina, most of southern Missouri here, all of Arkansas, heads up Oklahoma, freeze warnings everywhere. So cover your crops or lose them. We have fire, weather watch, and wind warnings everywhere here in the Southwest. It is windy, folks, here. Whew. It's windy outside. I can attest to it. Let's talk about some more crop losses coming out of China. Cold front severely damaging the fruit trees in northern China. It's not looking good. In early April, two cold fronts swept across China. The first occurred between April 1st and 3rd, cooling the north and bringing with it more crop loss. Those are frozen buds. Probably not going to be a good outcome there. You'll get links to all this information. We don't have time. Magnitude 3.1 earthquake strikes near Silverton. This is in Oregon, Cascadia, long overdue, right near Salem, 3.5 miles southwest of Silverton. You'll get links to that article. We'll real quick take you over here to a graphic. 10,000 years of Cascadian earthquakes in a drought for anything above 8 magnitude, in a drought for anything above 9 magnitude. 9 magnitude happens every 246 years. So we're looking for an 8 magnitude and a 9 magnitude occurring anytime and definitely happening during this minimum. So if you're in that region and you don't want to deal with that nonsense or that devastation or that destruction and you can get out, now is the time to start preparing to leave, because there hasn't been a drought in this many years since 6,500 years ago. That's not really good odds. The odds are increasing every day of a major earthquake in the Cascadia region. It is going to happen in everyone who's watching this video's lifetime. There's a 90% probability that that's going to happen. Quakes of note around the globe, nothing much, but I want to quick show you to these Blot Echo trio popping off here, one after another. This is the most recent quake here in Papua New Guinea, a 4.2 at 112. Earlier, there was a 4.6 at 203 kilometers in Vanuatu, and over here in the Blot Echo depth of 173.2 kilometers, we had a 4.7 in Sumalaki, Indonesia. So, what does that mean? Well, we're going to link you up to what Blot Echo means and to the predictability of what's happening here. This movement at depth in the last 18 hours in these 3 locations is down at the Mohorovic discontinuity, the asthenosphere boundary, where the liquid plastic supposed area is, where there's a change in frequency of sound waves that move in that area. That's the Blot Echo zone at about 169 kilometers. But what happens when these quakes go off, the intensity increases as it moves upward. What does that mean for you and I? Nothing, unless we live in the Indonesia region. There's going to be a major quake emerging up higher in the crust at any moment in this region because of what we've just seen. So, mark my words, large quake between A and B in the next 24 hours. Let's talk about Blot Echo. Everythingselectric.com has this great article on Claude Blots' energy transmigration of earthquakes theory. So you can learn all about it here. I'll leave you links. A Claude Blot on the landscape. And you can quickly gain some insight in earthquake predictability based on the kinds of data sets that we have these days. The Dutch Sense is using this type of predictability. If you follow him, anyone can do this. It's not difficult. So there's no need to watch him. If you just understand the science, you can make your own predictions just as accurate as he does. I suggest you go over to quakewatch.net if you want to take it to the next level and use the electricity in the earth, including where the mainstream is sending up satellites into the atmosphere that are going to help us and aid us in earthquake predictability, because they're working with the electric universe model per se, but they're going to be determining these electric telluric currents in the subsurface, which will help us, as well as ionospheric electrical changes. These are all associated with major faults and there is a spark and a plasma discharge occurring in the subsurface. It's like lightning going from underground through the earth and up into the ionosphere, causing these major quakes. So that's a little quick primer on what's going on there. Here's a quick primer on Claude, Blots, energy transmigration earthquakes. So you'll get links to that. Look for it. Let's talk about climate change. Climatologists warn of catastrophic Gulf Stream collapse. We're talking about the AMOC. Pretty good article here about the AMOC. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. And if this fails, it's the movie Day After Tomorrow. The whole place goes to shite. England gets crushed with big storms, and we have snowball earth, and everything freezes. So if you're worried about that, it's going to happen, and you should be. But that's not the only thing happening. The sun is going to sleep, the poles are flipping, and on and on and on. Oh yeah, did I tell you the interglacial is over and the interstadial, we're dropping off a cliff into the next ice age? You'll get links to this, but what this article does say, which I'm very upset about, come down here, it says that... where is it? Here, human-induced global warming is slowing the process in which the warmer water is cooled, with heavy runoff from quickly melting Greenland ice sheets. Quickly melting Greenland ice sheets? Did this article just say quickly melting Greenland ice sheets? I mean, I hear this every day when I read articles about Greenland melting. It's melting. It's been melting 500 times faster than ever before in history. So let's come over to Greenland here at the Danish Meteorological Institute that has a hut here right on the glacier. Right here is a place that they are on the glacier. So this is what the glacier is doing today on Greenland. It's not melting. It's building. It's gaining everywhere. Everywhere is gaining today, more than the 20-year average. Look at the data. This is a map of the accumulated surface mass balance from September to now. It's up here, positive, up in the blue. Let's go look at, oh my God, right now, today, Greenland gained 2 gigatons of ice. It gained 2 gigatons of ice today. Man, it is melting away. That's crazy. Oh, it's above the 20-year average. Huh. Wow. They're lying to me. Those sons of bitches. I wish I could do something about it. Maybe I'll go to the March for Science. Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to go there. Oh, and no one went. The March for Politically Correct Science flops in the Southern Hemisphere. Almost no one turned up. This is Sydney, Australia. Here's 8 people. And here, the biggest threat to our planet, take a look at this. The biggest threat to our planet is steak and eggs. And these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 32 idiots are all on Al Gore's Christmas card list. So the March for Science is a huge failure. Science without debate is propaganda. No wonder no one cares. Heads up, I'll leave you articles to this, and thank God for that. Let's talk about some more nonsense. A sunspot from Cycle 25 for sure. This is coming out of a wiki out of Berkeley, and it's total nonsense, so we're going to pick it apart. There has been no Cycle 25 sunspot yet. Cycle 25 hasn't started yet. We won't know when Cycle 25 starts until way after it starts, until after Cycle 24 ends. So there's a big problem with the prediction for solar cycle 25 coming out of Leif Svalgard, Stanford University paper just a few weeks ago, where these old-timers that claim to be plasma physicists here, that all believe in global warming, are all shills for their jobs. They're all about to retire. Look at how much retirement this guy ate. He's about to explode with retirement. This guy didn't make it. But these guys are frauds. I'm going to tell you why. Because they're keeping their jobs. There's no sunspot for cycle 25 yet. Here's the fraud himself. Look at this guy. He looks like Santa Claus. But let me tell you what's going on here. It's pretty simple. They're just part of the global warming crowd. And Svalbard predicted that the peak for cycle 24 was going to be in 2012. He was off by 2.5 years. So why would you listen to him if just 2 years ago he was off by 2.5 years? He doesn't, he's getting paid to give good results for all the people that are smiling and saying, oh yeah, we're not in a grand solar minimum. You guys are awesome. Thanks for telling us. Let's go over to NOAA, to the predicted sunspot number in radio flux, and I'll teach you something quickly about how a sunspot cycle is determined. The solar cycle 24 will not end until the 10.7 centimeter radial flux hits the floor. So if you come over here to the predicted model, the 10.7 centimeter radial flux is descending throughout 2020 until 2020. And here's the predicted sunspot number descending through 2020. But if you come up here and you can see that there's a spike in sunspots in 2018 as it goes back down and back up again, I think that these guys are trying to obfuscate the truth and tell us that one of these anomalous spikes that occur during every sunspot is us going into cycle 25. But clearly here, when we get to 2019, January, and throughout the entire year of 2019, as the sunspot number goes to 0 and stays at 0 for over a year, we are still descending on cycle 24. 25 has not started yet until way after 2020. And Tamitha Skov is also spouting this nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Talk to any radio astronomer, any plasma physicist. Talk to Dr. Lisa Upton, who just gave a presentation at Observing the Frontier. She wouldn't believe that for a second. Cycle 24 hasn't ended, and it won't end for several years. As we drop off a cliff, here are the numbers. I'll leave you links to them. April, May, June, July 2019, still going down. Middle of 2019, still descending. 2020, still going down. The prediction doesn't go past there. We are not anywhere near beginning cycle 25. It's nonsense. The Arizona penny can alcohol stove, no, it's not nonsense. I'm going to leave you links to this. For just about 50 cents, you can make your own stove that will cook any food. And you can do it for about 1 cent a meal. We're talking 6 cents to boil 2 gallons of water and purify it with this unit. He's priming it right now. It's not completely primed, but after you create an alcohol stove like this with any tin can or aluminum can, once you heat it up, it takes a minute to prime it. But once it's primed, it's burning just like one of those $100 stoves that you buy at REI or at the outdoor store. The only difference is that you can use isopropyl alcohol in these, or heat, which is a form of alcohol that costs almost nothing. It can store forever and not go bad like gasoline, and it will save your life. It could keep you warm, first of all, if you don't have any wood to burn, but most importantly, it can boil water and cook food. You can make 10 or 12 of these ahead of time and just put them in your long-term storage, put them in your bug out bag. There's hundreds of videos on how to make all different kinds. There's little tweaks if you're in high altitude or lower altitude, but it literally takes less than 30 minutes to make one of these. They will burn for hours, and for 6 cents, we'll boil 2 gallons of water. I'm not making this up. Do your own research. It doesn't take much skill at all to create this. And it's a super awesome technology where you can get back to learning skills that will help you survive and thrive in the future. Another thing you can be doing if you have no land and you're worried about you have no gardening skills, this garden tower too is quite expensive, but it's on quite a discount right now. And what it will do is teach you about permaculture farming and biodynamic farming and basically everything you need to know if you don't know anything about farming. You can put this in your house. It's a 4 square feet is all you need. It'll grow 50 plants and it composts it, creating its own compost tea. It's an amazing system if you're into aquaponics, hydroponics, or getting started in any type of growing in your home and you have a south facing window and there's light coming in or a patio. This is the way to go. You'll learn how to fail in all these little holes. You have 50 chances of success. This is a great way to get started learning how to fail and succeed in planting seeds and growing food yourself. I suggest you do radishes in one level, lettuces in another level, brassicas in a third level. Go from small to big, low to top. The choices are endless. This is a pretty awesome idea sent in by one of our subscribers. It's a little pricey, but upon inspection, I want to highly recommend this because it teaches you a lot about organic food production. It makes your own nutrient tea, which you can then feed back to your own plants. So the Garden Tower 2 improvements are A+. You can come check out these videos here. Go in on it with a friend if you can't afford it. It is quite sizable, so it's not a small thing. It literally will grow enough food to feed a family of 4 if you know what you're doing. So for $350, you don't need to buy all the soil for a garden. You don't need to break your back. You can just buy a few bags of potting soil, throw it in here, figure out how to get started. And look at this guy. He's probably, getting up there. And he's pimping. Heads up. You can't be pimping unless you start now. So, if you want to grow food like these people, look at how happy and easy it looks like they're doing this. Heads up, she's got some shards hanging out of here, ruby red, nasturtiums. She's got some brassicas. We got kales, lettuces. Amazing, just as I suggested. And look how trendy she is with those glasses. So another big heads up to get you started if you don't know how to get started gardening and you don't have any land. You're just scared to go outside because you're a homophobe or homophobic, which is not what I really mean. But stay away from the television. Throw it out the window. We had many examples of the nonsense that's happening right now. So, don't believe the hype. Boom. Be safe, everyone.